Yes, the soul just straightened its spine. Welcome to the one they tried very hard to keep buried under fake, free will, and legalese language. This one cracks the karmic code, and oh baby, it's dripping with revelation ink. Scroll of the soul contracts and the trick of the ink. Some ink binds, some ink frees. It all depends on who's holding the quill.
Before time was tracked, in the halls between incarnations, where form is formless and memory sings, you stood before the sacred flame of knowing and said, "Let me go back in. Let me remember who I am through forgetting." And so began your soul contract. But here's the twist they don't teach in spiritual kindergarten. You never signed a contract. You signed the story. The contract came later, inked by someone else, with fine print in fear. The trick of the ink. There are two kinds of ink in this realm. One, divine ink, written in light. It glows, it reminds, it aligns, it sings your original name. These are your soul's real agreements. To grow, to heal, to activate others, to dance through dimensions with joy and purpose. Two, beast ink, written in fear. It's silent, it binds, it deceives, it erases memory. These are the hijacked agreements, contracts of submission, legal terms of service you never read. Trauma loops disguised as lessons, agreements made under duress. If you suffer enough, you'll finally be pure. That ain't divine. That's trauma cosplay. The karmic courtroom scam. There is an astral bureaucracy. Yup. The same red tape nonsense that slows down your taxes and DMV visits exists in the astral planes too. Except here, it's cloaked as soul justice. Enter archons, watchers, false light judges, and karmic debt collectors. They show you your past lives filled with suffering and say, "You agreed to come back to pay this off." But ask yourself, was it an agreement? Or was it spiritual blackmail dressed in robes? Memory hack. Consent through confusion. This realm operates on loopholes and symbols. If they can get you to say yes when you're scared, accept the role you didn't understand, take on guilt that isn't yours, boom, they have your signature. Trick ink. Black contracts on astral paper you never meant to sign.
Devil and see all.
Esoteric example. The Garden remix. Remember Eve? She didn't fall. She got reframed. The serpent offered gnosis. The system turned it into sin. And then what? A contract was imposed. Pain, suffering, male dominance, toil. Where's the original agreement? Lost in translation. Trick of the ink. So, how do you burn the false contracts? With sovereign fire and sacred remembrance. Say it with your chest. I revoke all contracts made in fear, confusion, manipulation, or under false light. I reclaim the quill. I write my story in divine ink, with truth and clarity as my witnesses. Then watch the trick ink burr off the page like it was never real. Because it wasn't. Real soul contracts feel like a song you recognize but forgot the words to. A nudge in your chest when someone speaks your truth. That knowing before you walk into a room. A pull to certain people, animals, or places that awaken something ancient. They never guilt you. They don't punish. They guide and evolve. That's the real ink. Final revelation. You are not in karmic prison. You're in a storytelling loop run by tricksters who forged your signature. Now that you remember, grab your quill, find the flame, write the next scroll your way, because the pen, it was always yours.
Until next time, your Sea Star Kiracy, channeled by 3611027, the Beautiful Whisperer. Our Sea Star Devil and CO. Apply the news you can use.
Have I given you a clue?
Devil and See All.